In the small town of Maumee, Indiana, there was a motel just a distance from the Maumee River, the Red Rose Motel. It was quite small, with only 2 floors, and each of those floors having 5 rooms, apart from the lobby and the kitchen. A young woman named Brenda was the supervisor, but she was also in charge of the housekeeping. When she arrived at the motel one evening, she allowed the previous workers leave and sat down behind the reception waiting for the other workers to arrive. There would be only 2 other employees to work the night shift along with her. It would be Donna at the reception and Cody, the chef. Brenda was a little worried about today. Just the day before, Brenda's boss informed her that he received inside information that there would be an inspection on the motel tonight. There would be no way to tell who was the inspector. They usually came in as a regular customer and checked in. So Brenda was told to handle the shift properly, and if she suspected any customer could be the inspector, she was to make sure he received the best care, attention, and service at the motel. It wasn't long before Donna and Cody arrived. Now it was only the 3 of them at the motel. Cody waved at the 2 and headed to the kitchen, and Donna put her bag behind the reception desk. Brenda put on her apron and went around the motel to check all the rooms. Everything seemed to be nice and neat. There was still a little light in the sky, but the sun would set soon. Brenda walked the hall spraying some air freshener in each room. Around 7, Brenda went to check if everything in the kitchen was fine. When she got there, she leaned against the pantry and watched Cody chop up some salad and stock the salad bar. Brenda and Cody started chatting about college and gossip in town, when suddenly Donna slipped into the kitchen, looking a bit freaked out. Some creepy-looking guy just arrived. He's carrying a briefcase. Who even carries those anymore? Brenda stood up. Wait, what? Maybe it's the inspector. Brenda sneaked a peek through the door. Look, boss told me that there would be an undercover inspector checking in tonight. It's probably him, so we have to be alert. Donna, make sure you're super duper nice to him, and Cody, make sure the food is awesome. I'll escort him to the room towards the back. Donna straightened her dress and went to the reception. Hello, sir. Welcome to Red Rose Motel. Does the staff always disappear from the front desk like this? Donna suddenly became nervous. She chuckled and said, No, I'm always here. I just had to pick up something. I'm sure you won't be disappointed with our service. I'll book you our VIP room. There's an amazing view of the Maumee River behind the motel. Brenda, our supervisor, will escort you there. All right, thank you. Brenda walked out and greeted the man. He nodded his head, not saying much. The man was wearing a long coat. He had long hair up to his earlobes, a beard that made him look like a beast. He wasn't too tall, but rather broad and tough-looking. He made Brenda a little uncomfortable, but she kept her composure and smiled her biggest smile as she took him to the room. As soon as Brenda opened the room, she got a whiff of air freshener. She hoped the man did too. But the man walked inside, looking around and scrunching his nose. Brenda asked, Sir, is everything okay? Would you like to order something? The chef here is great. After a moment of silence, the man said, This bed has been slept in. The sheets are dirty. There was a couple here before. He murmured under his breath, Lousy housekeeping. Brenda rushed to check the bed sheets. They looked absolutely fine to her. She was a bit shocked at how the man knew the sheets were slept in. In all honesty, sometimes Brenda didn't replace the sheets if they looked clean enough. That's no problem, sir. I'll change the sheets in a jiff. Brenda tidied up the room and left the man be. She let out a breath of relief as she walked down the hall to the lobby again. What happened? Are inspectors supposed to be mind readers or something? Or did he have some sort of X-ray vision? Or a super sense of smell? He said a couple stayed in there. He wanted me to change the bedsheets again. Are you serious? He's right. There was a couple who came in 2 days ago. I don't think anyone used that room after them. Creepy. Has he been inspecting us for a couple days now? Cody looked through the kitchen window. I know, right? Even I sensed it. He looked pretty intimidating. I know what you mean. He gives me the creeps. You're lucky you're not in charge of housekeeping. It was at midnight when the phone rang. Not another customer checked into the motel, so Donna knew exactly who it was. Hello, it's Donna. How may I help you? I'd like to order dinner. Of course, what would you like to have? I'd like to have a Pittsburgh rare steak, but could you please inform your chef to be very precise about cooking it? And be sure to tell him not to put garlic in any of my food. I don't eat garlic. Pittsburgh rare steak. No garlic. All right, sir. Room service will have dinner served within 20 minutes at your door. Donna put down the phone. She thought the man would have fallen asleep by now. Guess not. Maybe he was the inspector. She rushed to the kitchen. Hey, Cody, the guy wants a Pittsburgh rare steak. He said to make sure you cook it properly. Oh, and no garlic. Wait, Pittsburgh rare steak? That's literally raw in the inside and burnt on the outside. Yikes, who eats meat like that? Raw? Is he an inspector in disguise or a creature in disguise? Making the steak took only about 5 minutes, and most of the time went in heating the grill extremely hot, and then just placing the thick chunk of meat on there for a minute. Brenda was called to take the food to the room. When she got there, she knocked on the door. But then she realized the door was kept open. She called out, but the man didn't reply. Brenda went inside. The room was empty. The windows were wide open. Strange, where did he go? The bathroom was vacant also. Brenda walked to the window and peered out. The woods were dark and eerie. Far in the distance, the waters of Maumee River looked pitch black. Suddenly, she heard a wolf howl. Brenda shivered. There was a garden behind the motel for customers to spend leisure time, but her boss always warned her to keep it off limits and keep all doors and windows locked during the night shift. Sometimes, wild animals entered into the garden area from the woods. Brenda quickly closed the window and decided to get out of there. But that's when she noticed something on the nightstand that got her a little curious. It was the briefcase, slightly open. Brenda remembered the man hadn't brought anything else beside it. Brenda was itching inside to know if the man was indeed the inspector or not. She looked here and there before opening the briefcase. But what she saw inside made her a little anxious. She expected confidential papers. But what was this? Inside were vials of what seemed to be blood. One of the slots were missing. Other than that, there was just a small silver pendant. Brenda was a bit freaked out. She quickly left everything how it was and hurried to the lobby. Hey, you guys, did you see that man leave? No, why? You won't believe what I found. That man keeps vials of blood in his briefcase and this strange silver pendant thing. What? You have to be kidding me. Blood? Maybe you were right, Donna. Maybe he is some sort of creature. No joke, you guys. I'm serious. Something is definitely fishy. Check the footage and see if he came out of his room. Donna quickly loaded the security footage from the hall. Strangely, the man didn't leave his room since he entered it when he came. Then where did he go? Brenda, Donna, and Cody waited about an hour before they decided to check up on the room. This time, the girls sent Cody. Cody went and knocked on the door. Room service. It was after a while that Cody finally heard footsteps. They were strangely heavy. The man opened the door slightly. The room was dark. Cody couldn't see anything but the man's unusually yellowish eyes. Cody was a little taken aback. He then assumed he must have woken him up from his sleep. I'm sorry, sir. I was just checking to see if things were all right. The supervisor came to serve your dinner and you weren't available at that time. Oh, perhaps I was in the bathroom. There's no need to worry. I'm absolutely fine. I would like to have some privacy, please. Yes, yes, of course. Good night. Cody walked down the hall. Donna and Brenda were waiting around the wall with their ears cornered up. What happened? What happened? He's fine, but by the way he looked, are you sure you didn't find some crazy stuff in that briefcase as well? His eyes were pure yellow. Weird. Come on, let's get out of here. You never know, inspectors might even have super hearing. Brenda, Donna, and Cody went back to their stations. They didn't expect the man to be up till morning. They quietly sat around and gossiped. Every now and then, they heard the wolves howling outside in the woods and went to check up on the locks. Brenda usually opened the back door at dawn and raked the garden before she was done for the day. At around 5 a.m., Brenda grabbed her rake and opened the back door. The skies were shades of red and purple. Brenda hummed as she raked the garden, taking glances behind her shoulder every now and then in paranoia of wild animals. As she got closer to the wooded area, she started to hear a noise. It sounded like growling. Brenda widened her eyes. Her heart started to beat fast as she slowly turned her neck. There in the woods, she saw numerous glowing yellow eyes. From the darkness, a wolf walked out, staring at her. Brenda couldn't hold in the fear. She let out a scream before she tried to flee. But Brenda knew she wouldn't be able to outrun the wolves. She screamed for help. Donna! Cody! Just then, one of the windows of the rooms opened. The man jumped out and shouted at the wolves as if he were talking to them. Brenda was horrified seeing the way the man approached the wolves. The wolves suddenly sat quiet before running back into the woods. Cody and Donna hurried to the garden and picked up Brenda. The man turned around. This motel needs better fencing around this area. He then chuckled. Although, I doubt whether that would stop the wolves. I hope you're okay. Brenda shivered. Yes, I'm all right. The man looked at the skies. Look like the sun has risen. It's time for me to head out. Everyone went back inside, speechless and shocked. After a while, the man returned to the lobby and handed his room keys. I enjoyed this day. Perhaps I'll stay here sometime again. Brenda, Cody, and Donna watched the man leave. Glad that's over. Now I just hope he doesn't complain against us. There was only 1 hour left before the end of their shift. The 3 employees were wrapping up when suddenly Brenda received a call from her boss. Hey, it's the boss, quiet down. Hello? Yes, Brenda, I've been meaning to call you. I was just informed that the inspector that was supposed to arrive postponed the date of the inspection. He won't be coming until next week. Oh, okay. Brenda put down the phone. She turned around looking at Cody and Donna, all looking confused and a little stunned. If that guy wasn't the inspector, then who was he? You mean, what was he? Click on the subscribe button and check out more awesome videos on our channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon because you know it's interesting.